So, what if the way we've been taught to think about love is completely backwards? The novel, No One's Beloved, really challenges our deepest instincts about relationships. That desire to hold on, to possess someone, to call them mine. It asks some pretty tough questions about what it really means to love freely. And today, we're going to dive into its beautiful and, yeah, sometimes difficult answers. Right from the start, we meet Andrei, the mysterious man at the center of this whole story. And he's described like this: making peace with the world the way a river makes peace with the stones in its bed, without either claiming victory. Now, that's not just a pretty line. It's literally the key to the entire book. It's about a way of being in the world that doesn't try to conquer or own things, but just flows. But what happens when something that's meant to flow freely runs into a world that just wants to build dams? Well, that's the real tension of this story. On one side, you've got Andrei, this man who is just like a river. And on the other, you have an entire town that's desperate to stop that flow, to contain him, and to make him theirs. You see, for the people of the town of K, especially the women, they don't look at Andrei's freedom and see something beautiful. Nope. They see it as a puzzle to be solved, a challenge. They want to, as the book puts it, still the river and make it into a lake. They want to take his wild, unpredictable nature and turn it into something predictable, something with clear shores that they can claim. And this sets up the two competing ideas of love for the whole book. On one side, you have what we could call lake love. It's contained, it's owned, it's defined by its shores. But on the other, you've got river love. It's flowing, it's free, and it's defined only by its own movement. And pretty much every character in this story has to figure out which kind of love they're going to live by. So, right into this town of lakes and rivers walks Elena. She's a writer from the big city, but she's not just passing through. Oh no, she arrives as the ultimate seeker, a woman who is absolutely determined to solve the puzzle of Andrei N. and, in a way, be the one who finally succeeds in building that dam. Officially, she tells everyone she's there to write a book. But let's be real, her true project is Andrei. She has this intense, driving need to understand him, to define him, to capture him. Her real quest is to, and I quote, secure his meaning, to finally pin down the man who everyone says just flows like a river. And their very first meeting, it tells you everything you need to know. She walks right up to him in a cafe, looks him in the eye, and just says, "I know you." Think about that for a second. It's not a question, it's a statement. It's a declaration. She's not trying to get to know him. She thinks she already has him figured out. She's staking a claim. But Andrei's response? Man, it is the perfect philosophical jab right back at her. He just says, "You know someone." With just those 3 words, he completely dismantles her certainty. He's saying, what you know is just an idea you have in your head, a projection. It's not me. Their entire relationship, this huge debate about love and identity, it's all packed right there in that first exchange. That simple reply, someone, kicks off the real heart of the novel, Elena's education. And this isn't your typical romance story. It's a deep and honestly often painful lesson in the nature of desire itself. She has to slowly learn the difference between wanting to own another person and just learning how to be with them. There's this one moment where Andrea just holds up a mirror to everything she's doing with this one devastatingly sharp observation. He says to her, "You want me to belong to you so that you can know who you are in relation to me." He sees right through it. Her quest to possess him isn't even about him. It's about her. She needs him to be a fixed point on our map so she can finally figure out where she is. And look, this change doesn't happen overnight for her. It's a whole process of unlearning. She starts with this fierce, almost desperate need for possession. Then that turns into this deep frustration with Andrei and his philosophical riddles. But then there's a turning point. A nasty rumor spreads about her, and instead of fighting it, she just lets it go. She refuses to be a character in their little drama. And that's what finally leads her to discover presence, the ability to just be with him, and more importantly, to just be with herself. There's this amazing scene at the winter dance that just shows this perfectly. Elena really wants him to dance with her in front of everybody, to make a big public show of their connection. But instead, he leads her outside to this quiet, snow-covered terrace, and they dance together without any music. He gives her a real, private gift, a shared moment, not the public performance of ownership that she thought she wanted. It's a huge lesson, even if she doesn't fully get it yet. Okay, so we've been focused on Elena, but what's so brilliant about this book is that it's not just her story. The entire town of Kuropu basically acts as a hall of mirrors, reflecting all these different versions of love, desire, and possession through all the other characters. And you see these different paths play out all over town. You've got Katya, whose need to possess Andrei just spirals into this destructive, jealous obsession that almost destroys her. Then there's Marta, a widow who realizes that her so-called good marriage was really just a cage, and her journey is this really hard but totally true liberation. And then there's Gregor, the local pharmacist. His quiet, unreturned love for Elena actually becomes its own kind of freedom, a love that finds peace because it asks for nothing. And Marta's story, wow, it's maybe one of the most powerful parts of the book. At one point, she confesses that she was actually relieved when her kind, loving husband died. And that's such a shocking moment of truth, right? It shows us that even a good possessive love, a comfortable lake, can feel like you're suffocating. Her relief isn't about being a monster. It's the feeling of someone finally being able to take a deep breath. All right, so after all this struggle, all this searching, where do we land? What's the takeaway? Well, the novel offers up this final, powerful philosophy, a totally new way of loving. Let's call it the doctrine of open hands. So what is it? Well, the novel's ultimate answer is a kind of love that isn't about grasping or controlling someone. It's about holding your hands open. It's a love that doesn't try to pull someone closer, but it doesn't push them away either. It just remains present and open, ready to receive whatever is given freely, without making any demands. It's how the river and the lake finally find a way to coexist. And what's so important here is that this way of thinking allows both our main characters to become whole, but on their own terms. Elena finally stops needing Andrei to be her definition, and she finds that wholeness within herself, finally becoming the author of her own story. And Andrei? He finally confronts his own past, freeing himself from the history that kept him running. So they can finally meet not as two broken halves trying to complete each other, but as two whole people choosing to be together. Which leaves us with this huge final question, right? One that the book kind of leaves sitting with you. It forces us to really rethink our most basic ideas about relationships. Is real love found in the safety of possession, in that certainty of holding on tight, or is the greatest, most real love only found when we have the courage to let go, to set another person, and ultimately to set ourselves free?